Welcome, Denson Paul Pollard. Finally, after this long quarantine, we are finally together here.
Hello, Matias. How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Greetings from Milan, from Italy.
One of my favorite cities, one of my favorite countries.
Why? Why is so your favorite? Because of the past, I believe.
Because of the pasta.
Yes.
And the history, and the climate. I like the climate, and the people are beautiful. My wife and I think that Italian people are some of the most beautiful people in the world.
Yeah, I'm agree actually. Italian people are really kind people, so I like them a lot. Paul, tell me, how are you doing? How you're dealing with this quarantine, with this lockdown? Where are you now, actually?
Right now, I'm in Bloomington, Indiana, where I live with part of the time with my family. I teach at the Jacobs School of Music at Indiana University. I'm one of 3 trombone teachers here. And so we live on a small, I guess you could call it kind of a little farm environment. We have quite a bit of land, and we're staying sheltered. We're sheltering in place like we've been instructed to do. I was just talking to Matias about his routine in Italy. My routine is very similar. We stay in our home most of the time, and we go out every once in a while just to get food and wear a mask and sanitize and just make sure that we don't bring the virus back to our home. But besides that, I'm just practicing, teaching online lessons, exercising, doing yard work, just trying to stay busy. It's pretty different. My life came to a sudden halt. Most people probably know that I also am a member of the Metropolitan Opera Orchestra in New York City, which is, if this is America, New York is here. I'm sorry, New York would be here, and Indiana's in the middle. And it's about a 2-hour flight back and forth, and I often do that many times per week. And all of a sudden, because of this virus, boom, no more flying, no more opera. And so it was a very shocking stop to my normally very hectic life.
Yeah, I think for the whole world it's almost the same routine actually. Paul, you told me in the beginning that you wanted to play, you wanted to show us something.
Sure. I mean, one of the things that I've been doing in quarantine, since I can't work with a pianist, is I've been practicing solo material that is done well as unaccompanied, without piano. And I've got a whole collection of unaccompanied solos. And one of my favorite things to play that's unaccompanied are the Bach cello suites. And I think it's some of the most beautiful music ever written. And my favorite is the G major. I recorded it on my third solo CD, and it's a Bach cello suite I've been playing my whole life. So I thought I'd play a little bit of that for you, if you want. Does anybody want to hear something? Now, Matias, I have both the Zoom and my phone with Instagram. Should I put the phone on my stand and let's see?
Yes, sure. Yes, do that. And then people that is watching you and listen you on Instagram can also have you on Facebook.
Okay, here we go.
But no worries about this because and then I'm recording this. And I will put it on YouTube, so everything is going to be more set up.
All right. Technology, it's awesome.
Imagine, now Paul is all the way from Indiana. You are here through Milan, and now we are through all the world.
Okay, so I'm going to play the Allemande from the Bach cello suite. And if people don't know, the Bach cello suites are actually, each suite is a collection of dances that were popular in some part of Europe at some part of time. And the Allemande was a Baroque dance that was really popular in Renaissance Germany. So if you can imagine, every movement of the Bach cello suite was music that was accompanied some popular dance back, a couple of hundred years ago. I mean, recently these days we have like the moonwalk and the sprinkler, all these popular dances that exist today. Back 200 years ago, they had popular dances as well, and the different movements of the suites were music that accompanied these dances. So again, the Alaman is from Germany, Renaissance Germany, and this is an example of dance music from that time.
Bravo!
Thank you.
I
I
think
love the Bach cello suites. It's hard to imagine that all of Bach's music after he died was completely lost and forgotten about. Nobody played Bach until Felix Mendelssohn kind of rediscovered and started to champion Bach's music again. And this actually, the full story of the Bach cello suites is that even after Mendelssohn rediscovered them and they got republished, they were again forgotten. And many people don't realize that it was Pablo Casals, the Spanish cellist, who found a copy of the manuscript in a used sheet music store. And what was it? I think the year was late 1800s, 1889, I believe. Pablo Casals found the music to them and started practicing them and championed the Bach cello suites starting at that time, and they kind of became popular again. And these days, it's kind of a rite of passage for cellists to perform all of the Bach cello suites. But I think we as trombone players should also study them because they are incredible vehicles for learning how to breathe well and phrase well and be creative as musicians. I'll throw out there, the only surviving original manuscript, well, it's not even original, kind of original. The only surviving manuscript that we have from Bach's time was actually a copy of the Bach cello suite written out by his second wife. We do not have the cello suites in Bach's hand. It was a copy that was written out by his wife with very little direction about dynamics or phrasing, and so we can use our imagination and play these in a lot of different ways, and I just love doing that. So I thought I would share that with you.
Nice. I really like your version of all the Bach suites. I really like them and enjoy them. I think I heard you in Japan for the first time, and then I had the opportunity to work with you together in Amsterdam. And your way of playing those backstreet, I think a part of your technique of using, you have a lot of things on your mind, how you work, and you are trying to say something through the trombone, and that is really important as a trombone player.
You know, after spending over a decade playing opera, many weeks, 7 operas per week, you know, the music of Verdi and Puccini and Mozart and Strauss and Wagner, hearing the greatest voices in the world singing at the Metropolitan Opera, you know, it's hard not to be affected by that as a musician. And yeah, hopefully some of the beautiful phrasing that I hear from these opera singers is rubbing off on my own playing when I play a solo as a trombone player. That's and you said it. My goal is to say something, to tell some kind of story when I play. And for me, all music is programmatic music.
Paul, tell me something. How do you start your routine nowadays with this different way of living, you can say?
You know, in a lot of ways, I feel like a student again. The honest truth is, I feel like I'm back in my student days because as a professional for the last decade, I've had so little time. You know, I've had to be very efficient with my practice, and because I just did not have a lot of time to waste. And in contrast to when I was a student, and I had more time to properly do everything all the time. And that's basically what I'm doing right now. I wake up and have my coffee and connect with my family a little bit, and then I go to warm up, and I take great care to cover all of my basic fundamentals when I'm warming up in a way that I just could not do leading up to this point because I was so busy. So, I mean, and specifically what that means for me, I mean, breathing and stretching. I'm almost 50 years old at this point. You know, as you get older, your muscles get more stiff. And I begin my day by making sure that my body is prepared to do what really is kind of a sport.
Are you working out a bit?
What's that now?
Are you working out a bit inside?
I do exercise. I run. I try to run every day. My son and we run 5K every day. Just to stay aerobically fit.
So you can go outside actually through your park or outside of your place.
Yes, we have a jogging route, a 5K route that is away from everyone else that we can do, and that's what we do.
Nice, nice. Are you having some goals at the moment, being locked down? What is your goal? What is your motivation to work every day?
You know, my family and I, at the beginning of this quarantine, we sat down and we had a family meeting, and we decided we had a choice going into this. We don't know how long it's going to last, and we have a choice to either just become sedate and, you know, without goals and not do anything, or we can set goals for ourselves. And a broad goal of mine is to be better in many ways at the end of this quarantine than I was going into it. You know, I'm reading books. I'm learning different things. I'm practicing more. I'm practicing all of my unaccompanied solo reps so that at the end of this quarantine, I'm going to be a better trombone player than I was, and I'm going to be smarter than I was. And because I'm exercising, I'm going to be in better shape than I was going into it. So my broad goal is to be better in as many ways as possible after the quarantine than I was before the quarantine.
That is really important. So all the people that is listening and hearing us, that is really important. And no worries, because after this interview, you will have this interview also with subtitles in Italian, in Portuguese, in Spanish. So don't worry, it's just something in life. Paul, what is the thing that you are missing the most nowadays?
Well, I mean, that's a pretty easy question to answer. I miss live performance. You know, Last night, I listened to two concerts last night. I listened to live at Lincoln Center, the opening of the New York Philharmonic's, I think it was 2005 year. They played Mahler 1 live with Lauren Mazel conducting. I listened to that in its entirety. And I listened to a performance of Tosca with the Metropolitan Opera. And it was, I mean, even though I love that music, I got sad because I miss it. I miss performing. I miss my colleagues around me and just the energy of being in a live performance environment. So that's really what I miss most.
Wow, that must be really difficult for you and your family to stay, because you are not used to stay so long at home, right? To spend your time 24/7 at home, I believe. You are all the time abroad.
Yeah, it's been a bit like coming home from outer space, just being on planet Earth, just walking around my house, not having to fly, not having to go anywhere. But I would imagine everybody feels that way, to go from a situation where you can just go anywhere you want, anytime, eat the food you want to eat, to visit the places you want to visit, to all of a sudden, boom, you've got to stay in one place. I'm sure it's shocking for all of us, really.
Mainly because we don't know when this is gonna end. That's gonna be really difficult also for your mind to set up, okay, maybe tomorrow this is gonna stop, but we don't know if tomorrow this is gonna stop because we don't have the injection, the vacuum. We don't have this. So what are your expectations for the day of tomorrow? You can say, what is your, yeah, I already asked you, what is your motivation, but how do you deal with this stuff? Because, the mind is really strong with us. Whatever you think is happening into your life.
I am, the honest truth is I've prepared myself for a new kind of existence.
A new era, you can say.
A new paradigm. Yeah, a new era, a new paradigm, a new kind of existence. You're right. Nobody knows what's going to happen here. Hopefully the scientists will find a vaccine. Hopefully this will be a very strange and interesting chapter in human history, but we just don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. And, I'm the kind of person that said, you know what, I'm not going to be crushed by this. I'm not going to allow this situation to get me too down. I'm going to go with the flow. I'm going to roll with it. And I'm just going to try to figure it out day by day, what I need to do. I mean, the honest truth is we were talking about this before we went live. There's a chance that there will not be any more live performances for a long, long time. There's a chance there won't be any more university classes live for a long, long time. And, if that's the case, then we've all got to figure out something that we're going to do. Life still has to go on. And, that's just how it is. That's how I'm approaching it.
Well, how do you deal these circumstances together with your students?
I've been very active with my students. Maybe some of them are on right now, but I've continued to be very active with my students. I just played a movement of a Bach cello suite a couple of Sunday nights ago. We had a studio class with Zoom, and every one of my students played a movement from a Bach cello suite that I had assigned. We played them for each other online for the Zoom classes. Right now, we're in the middle of, we're having a mock audition via recording, a recording mock audition where we have a set of excerpts, and every student has recorded a set of 5 excerpts, and I'm declaring a winner for each round of this mock audition as a way for students to learn how to make a tape audition round, which many students will have to do at some point. Everyone's going to have to make a tape and send it into a competition or to an orchestra for the first round, and it takes a little time to figure out how to do that. We've done that in my studio. We're recording ourselves and trying to figure out, hey, how can I best record myself for a tape round. So we've done that. At Indiana University last week, we had 5 different people come in and do guest master classes via Zoom. We had Blair Bollinger from the Philadelphia Orchestra. We had Martin McCain from Texas State University, Brad Palmer from Columbus State. We had, who else did we have in? I know I'm leaving out some. Nick Schwartz from New York City Ballet.
They're doing also warm-ups together with your students?
You know, I haven't been doing that because I know there's so many resources online for them to use. And we talked a lot about how to do that when school was in session. I haven't been doing that, honestly. But, you know, another thing is we all wake up at different times and we're in different time zones. Like right now in America, I'm on East Coast time. Some of my students are on the West Coast in Portland, in Seattle, in Los Angeles, you know. So we haven't really been doing that, but, you know, it's a useful thing that many people are doing. I think that's great. I think one of the incredible things that's happening as a result of this quarantine is that so many people are making themselves available online with their ideas and with their skills and with, you know, the internet has blown up with people presenting their art and presenting what they do so that everybody can see it and learn from it. And the community has really been active, and including people sharing warm-ups together. So I think that's something incredible that's happened as a result of this. I think probably if you don't have a very good microphone, I think everybody should be at this point should be saving their money to buy a really, really good microphone and headphones, because I think those are going to be very useful going into the future.
True. So what you're trying to say that technology now is really important.
Absolutely. You know, if whoever's listening, if you're a person up to this point, if you're a person who was not very knowledgeable about recording apps or other things, it's time to learn how to do that, because you're gonna have to know how to do that going into the future.
We have to deal with a new future, with a new reality, with a new beginning.
There we go. Someone said they were losing my audio, but now it's
yeah, because I think your phone was the speaker wasn't on your stand, right?
Yeah, it's here now.
Okay, let's do something smarter. Just put the audio of your computer complete out.
Okay.
Because we are heading now double again. Your phone was the speaker wasn't on your stand, right? How's that? I think much better. Let's do something smarter. Okay. Yes. So people tell me here in Instagram, how is the audio now? Danilo, Alexander, people that is listening and watching us. So keep on going, keep on going. There we go. Okay, let's go. Keep on going. Paul, we were talking about this quarantine because I don't think people already saw your hat. Wow, perfect for the moment. Quarantine hat. Amazing, amazing. Yeah. When this happened, I thought, you know what, that's the hat I'm going to wear around because it fits perfectly in the situation. Fit perfect for nowadays. Now we are the whole world is in quarantine. That is unbelievable. Before, in the beginning, here in Italy, we were the only one. After China. And after that, went to the Netherlands. And after that, to America, and then South America. And now the whole world is locked down. It's really, really, really heavy thing.
You know, in my house here in Bloomington, or my little farm, I guess you could call it, at nighttime, I can see the sky very clearly. And normally, under normal circumstances, I see many airplanes. You know, you can see airplanes crossing the sky. And I don't really see very many airplanes right now.
Do you have on your phone this app that can check how many airplanes are on your top here on the sky? Have you ever checked this app?
I have seen that. I don't have it, but I bet it's not very active right now.
It was really funny. Like, for example, in London was just one plane. That was this, I think, helping plane going to London, something like that. Paul, tell me something. What are your basics right now at the moment? We were talking, what do you do every day? Routine, warm up. What is the thing that you must do every day?
Well, of course, you know, the basics of breathing and stretching, buzzing a little bit every day, long tones, slow slurs. I've been doing all of those things, but I've also been going through books. I've been moving page by page through books that I've never played out of before right now.
For example?
So, number one, slurs.
Slurs.
It's a whole book. I don't know, Europeans may not know this book very well, but it's a
no.
No?
Never saw it before. Oh,
It's Brad Edwards. He's a university teacher in America. He teaches at I think Arizona State. I think sorry, Brad, if you're out there. But Brad is a really smart guy, and this is a whole book of different kinds of lip slurs in the low, mid, and high register with different variations. It's an incredible book, and I've just been moving through that book. Playing different kinds of lip slurs. I've been doing that. I've been playing out of this book called the Pollard 24 Studies.
Father, 24
It's another incredible book. This book here, I love this book, The Barbets. Etudes for bass trombone.
I know that. Yes, I like it a lot.
Those are different. Those are rhythm etudes in every major and minor key, and great for developing your sense of rhythm, being able to play different rhythms. I've been playing out of this book, The Slama, which is also it's a book that has 3 etudes in every major and minor key. I'd never played out of that book before. It was popular with the former bass trombonist of the New York Philharmonic, Don Harwood, in Juilliard. Don Harwood had all of his students play out of the Slama, so I've been doing that. And of course, I'm playing out of the Bible
of the whole brass, yes.
Yeah, you know, I'm especially focusing on the middle and later etudes out of the Bordoni, because I had not played them very much up to this point. So, like I said at the beginning.
Paul, sorry to interrupt you, because you said Bordoni. Are you also using Rochute?
Actually, you know, you hit on something very important there. I'm actually playing out of the Mulcahy, Michael Mulcahy. Again, here in America, I'm not sure you guys have this book in Europe, but
yes, we have this one. Yeah.
You know, you realize the Rochute book, they are the Bordonis. Rochute actually arranged the Bordoni etudes. So they're the same thing.
How many versions are of the Bordoni? Because it's one Bordoni, and then it comes the Bordoni for bass trombone, and then comes the Bordoni for tuba.
Yeah, there are a lot of different versions. The tuba version of it is just the Bordoni's written down an octave. I prefer to play it as written because I want my mind to have to work on transposing down an octave as sight. So I actually play out of the tenor trombone version, and
octave lower.
Yeah, I play them sometimes 6 or 7 different ways. I play them as written, as written down an octave, tenor clef down an octave, as written down 2 octaves, tenor clef down 2 octaves, and as written up an octave.
So you have already 8 ways to play just one exercise.
Yes.
So if you do the whole book, you're already done 365 days, more or less.
Yeah, it's a little bit time consuming to do that, but you cover every part of your range if you do that. You can imagine if you take something melodic and play it tenor clef down 3 octaves, as written down 3 octaves, tenor clef down 2 octaves, as written down 2 octaves, down 1 octave. You can imagine you're covering every aspect of your range when you do that.
That's really important, you said. Yeah.
I think it's very important.
Yeah.
So, I can, if you want, I can demonstrate.
Could be nice. Yeah. Perhaps guys here and also after this recording and the interview is edited, I would love to hear just choose one exercise of the Bordoni in this 8th version that you said to show people how do you work on it. Number 6.
This is number 6 from the Roche version of the Bordoni. You know what? I think I'm going to switch back to my computer audio because it's better.
Yeah. Trombone wise, it's better on a computer.
Okay, so there we go. Can you hear me?
Yes. Everywhere. Here in Zoom, here on Facebook, here on Instagram. Yes.
For instance, this Bordoni. This is Bordoni number 6 this one's out of the Roche book. It's in the key of E flat, begins on a B flat. Very familiar etude for trombonists. You can actually transpose that melody a lot of different ways. So Matthias, you keep up with all these different ways. So that was number 1.
Number 1.
Number 1. That was as written. Let's do it in tenor clef. That was in tenor clef.
Number 2.
Now let's do it as written down an octave. Tenor clef down an octave. As written down 2 octaves. Then how about tenor clef down 3 octaves? Let's see here. And then how about tenor clef down 4 octaves? And then let's throw one more in there. Let's do it as written up an octave.
Okay, we're 8.
I'll tell you what, let's do one more. Let's do
Bonus.
tenor clef
Okay.
up an octave. You know,
One more. To do 10. One more.
Was that 9? Was that 9 different ways?
Yeah, I believe it was 9. 9 different ways of playing of one simple, for some people, simple exercise.
Yeah, you know, and I'm sure everyone can imagine if you take a simple melody like that and transpose it. Basically, what we're doing is we're transposing up and down a fourth or a fifth. You're covering every part of your range, and if you're trying to work on having an even, beautiful, warm, in tune sound in all the different parts of your range, that's a great exercise. It's something that's being done. It's been done by trombone players for decades, for a long time.
Paul, move again your phone because the audio is going away.
How about now? Is this better? Is this better?
It's getting better. It's getting better. It's getting better. Paul, first thing that you will do after this lockdown, after this quarantine, tell me, be honest with me.
I'm going to go to the beach.
We'll go to the beach, okay, and have a pizza, have a beer.
You know, I've had a lot of pizza and beer in the quarantine. The lockdown has not stopped me from eating pizza and drinking beer, I have to say. But I love the ocean. My family and I, we love going to the ocean. And right now, of course, we can't go there. And so once this lockdown ends, we're probably going to go straight to the beach, man. I'm just going to lie in the sand and swim in the ocean. I love doing that.
Nice to hear that, and I hope that will happen really soon for the whole people, not just in America. I mean here in Europe, South America, but America now is really bad what is happening now in America. And this is New York, the whole thing that you can see and on the television, on the news, on the internet, all the videos that there are people scared.
It is, but you know, it's really interesting. America is a huge country. I mean, if you picked up the map of America and put it on top of Europe, to drive from one side of America to the other would take you 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
That's to drive. And depending on where you are in America, the virus is impacting your life in different ways. For instance, where I live, in the town where I live, there have only been 2 deaths and I think only 75 cases of the virus. That's it.
Yeah.
Versus where I spend a good portion of my time, New York City, of course, it's well documented, thousands of deaths, and many people have gotten the disease, the virus, I should say. So, I mean, my friends in New York and my friends in Europe, your lives are being way more impacted than mine here in Bloomington, Indiana. But we're still taking it seriously. We wear masks whenever we go out, and we disinfect our hands and stuff.
Paul, have you seen the news that what is happening now? I can tell you now in Italy because now I'm here. You know what is the impact that music is doing nowadays with people in general?
I think the whole world was touched by the idea that people were singing and playing their instruments out of their windows in Italy, you know, during the lockdown. I mean, I'm not surprised by that. You know, Italy is the birthplace of maybe my favorite music, you know, Verdi and Puccini, you know, and I think that was a very beautiful thing that was happening. It was a testament to the idea that this virus cannot squash the spirit of people. If you're strong and you don't let it, it will not squash your spirit.
Do you think, Paul? Do you think people after this lockdown and after this quarantine, people will see the music with another approach?
I think we're all going to appreciate many things way more deeply than we did before. You know, when you go without something that was just readily available anytime, when you go without that for a long time, when you get it again, you appreciate it. For example, I lived in Finland for a year, and during the winter there, of course, everyone knows in Finland, you get very little sunlight.
Yeah.
In the whole month of December in Finland, living there, I got 2 hours of direct sunlight. I felt the sunlight on my face for only 2 hours.
That was in the winter, right?
In the winter. And so that's how it was in December. And then I got on an airplane and I went to Hong Kong. I went to Hong Kong to play with the orchestra for a little while. And I won't ever forget the feeling of stepping out of the airport in Hong Kong and feeling the sun on my face and realized, wow, my whole life I had taken the sun for granted. I had taken the feeling of this, I had not appreciated the feeling of the sunlight on my face. And I think that's how music is going to be for our ears when this lockdown is finished.
I love your example. I really like your example, what you just said.
Yeah.
I'm totally agree.
It's going to be like feeling sunlight on your face for the first time. The live music going into the ears is going to feel so great.
Yeah. Totally agree. Well, Paul, to finish this amazing 50-minute talk, so I have to repeat to all the people is watching, listening, and hearing us, everything, that this interview with the amazing Denson Paul Pollard, it will be on YouTube. I think tonight or at least tomorrow. Paul, to finish this really nice talk, I would like to ask you 5 things, because I know you a bit. We were a few times together, so kind of know you. I will tell you 5 things, and you have to reply those 5 things with just one word.
Uh-oh.
Ready for it?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's begin
with the orchestra.
I have to give the first thing that pops into my head.
Yes. Difficult, huh?
Music.
Indiana.
Rural.
Food.
Spicy.
And the
last, I believe,
trombone.
The first thing. Beautiful.
All the trombone players are beautiful.
You can tell that I'm a trombone player. If you'd ask a violin, say the first thing that pops into your head when I say trombone, it would not have been beautiful, probably.
That's true. Totally agree. Paul, thanks a lot for your really busy agenda, busy calendar that you took just 1 hour of your calendar to be with me and chat with me a bit, and to let the people listen, to let the people know what are you doing at home, why are you busy at. Thanks a lot for your patience, for your support as always.
Matthias, it's great to see you, man. And, I wish you great health, and I hope you stay safe. And I hope we're able to see each other again in person at some point. And I know we will. And to anybody that's out there listening to this and is going to watch it after the fact, be well, stay strong, and I'm sure we're going to come out of this at some point.
Yes. We have to do this together. We have to be really strong. And everything is going to be all right. Thanks a lot, guys. Here, there. Tomorrow we have a really nice guest. I think you know him. Máximo La Rosa.
Ah, okay.
For sure.
Okay.
So, guys, thanks a lot. And see you tomorrow.
All right, take care, man. Good to see you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.